Okay, happy July 4th to everyone watching this video. It's July 4th when this video was made, but we're not predicting the America's team today. We are predicting the Miami Dolphins record heading to the 2020 NFL season. We predicted a lot of the league so far. We finished the entire NFC. We're on the third division in the AFC. Looks like we have about 6 teams left. We're on the Miami Dolphins today. We get to predict every single game on their schedule. Make sure you guys keep up support. Let's get to 400 subscribers pretty soon. Keep up the good work on that. So before we go into their schedule, let's look at their roster and what they did in the offseason. So looking at the Miami Dolphins roster, there's definitely some holes on the roster. I'm not liking their wide receiver room. I acknowledge the fact that Devontae Parker definitely had a breakout season. He did really good in 2019, good stats. He performed well late. But I mean, their 2 and 3 wide receivers, Allen Hurns and Albert Wilson, not that great there. They do have a pretty solid offensive line. Good offensive line. I really like their tight end. I'm high on Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki, he's a good run blocker, but he's also, I think he'll develop into a good target for Tua Tagovailoa. He was a PSU alumni. I got to watch him play a lot, so looking forward to see him develop with maybe a better team built around him now. The question, though, who is starting week 1 between Fitzpatrick and Tua? So they kind of owe Ryan Fitzpatrick a little bit because Fitzpatrick, he became Fitzmagic towards the end of 2019. So they're probably going to give him a couple games early in the season. But after that first 1 or 2 games, they'll probably have Tua in just because they, let's go for the wins here. Their running back room ain't bad. So let's see. They traded a 2020 5th-round pick for Matt Breida. Not a horrible deal right there. Matt Breida obviously had one of the fastest mile-per-hour times in the league in 2019. And then they signed as free agent Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard definitely going to make a really big impact on this team. He was injured a tiny little bit with the Eagles in 2019, but him and Matt Breida definitely going to make this team have one of the best running back rooms in the league. They got Kyle Van Noy. They signed him as a free agent. Camus Grugier-Hill, pretty solid right there. So they definitely were really active in free agency. Byron Jones on defense. They got him as a cornerback. Xavier Howard, he's also a solid cornerback they have with him. So this team isn't looking horrible. Shaq Lawson from the Buffalo Bills on the defensive line. They got a solid enough team. It's not going to blow anybody's mind. They got some key players they have. They got Howard, Parker, Byron Jones. But I don't know if the depth is there on defense. And their wide receiver room could use some work as well. So they're definitely heading in the right direction, but are they going to be there in 2020? Let's look at their schedule. They have a tough schedule. Week 1, they play the New England Patriots. It's in Foxborough, and at the time that I predicted every single one of these teams' records, Cam Newton was not on the Patriots, so keep that in mind. But I still gave them the loss week 1. Week 1, now that Cam Newton is the quarterback, they're going to be a solid team this year. I predicted that in the last video. Make sure you guys go watch that. But the Dolphins just aren't going to, have the momentum week 1. They have a lot of new additions. They don't know how well they play together if they mesh the team, whereas the Patriots are more organized as an organization. They'll be ready week 1, and it's a home game for them. They don't lose home games, especially against young quarterbacks if Tua does play. Even if Fitzpatrick plays, he did have a good game against them last year, so watch for that. But if Tua plays this game, the Patriots will dominate because Belichick dominates young quarterbacks. Dolphins 0-1. Week 2, another tough divisional matchup. They play the Buffalo Bills. This game's a home game for the Dolphins, but the Bills honestly have one of the best rosters in the league and in the AFC for sure. They got Josh Allen as quarterback, who if he enhances his football IQ, I think he'll be a really good quarterback. Sometimes he makes some weird decisions. He's definitely got a hell of an arm, though. Devin Singletary, trained under Frank Gore, had a good rookie season. One of the top receiver rooms in the league with John Brown, Stephon Diggs, and consistent Cole Beasley. Good offensive line, really good defense. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, solid team for Buffalo. Definitely 0-2 for the Dolphins. But let's just say the Dolphins start off 2-0. That would be 2 tough divisional games. And if the Dolphins somehow, which I don't see happening, pull off these first 2 wins, then they could be in a good direction to make the playoffs. But I predict them going 0-2 to start. Then they play the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's an away game, but Jaguars one of the worst franchises in the NFL heading into the season. Not much to say about that team. You saw that video. I'm predicting them to have 0 wins this year. They're not trying to win. Realistically, they'll have 2 or 3 wins, but Minshew's not a great quarterback. He didn't perform well against tougher defenses. Had a couple of good games, but not really. The receiver room didn't perform too well because of Gardner Minshew. The receivers definitely aren't bad, but with a bad quarterback, bad offensive line, it's tough. The Jaguars defense definitely has a lot of holes as well. So Dolphins going to get the win right here. This could be Tua's first game, and I think that Tua plays from here on out, week 3 and on. And I think he gets the win here. So 1-2 for the Dolphins. Tough 3-game stretch. They play the Seahawks. This game is a home game for the Dolphins. Seahawks, better roster, better team. The Seahawks are going to dominate this game. It's going to be not going to be a tough matchup at all. 1-3. Then they play the 49ers. This is an away game. It's brutal. 49ers, the Dolphins are heading in the right direction, but the 49ers have it figured out. They did downgrade a little bit with the loss of Matt Breida. Can Matt Breida get his revenge? I don't know. I do know, actually. And then, obviously, they lost Emmanuel Sanders. The 49ers did. But if you look at their whole entire depth chart, not many holes in San Francisco. The same can't be said about the Dolphins. So 1-4 to start off. Then they play the Denver Broncos. So let's just say the Dolphins definitely trending upward based off their offseason. The Broncos definitely trending upward based off their offseason. This game could have playoff implications with the 7th seed being added in the AFC. And it's in Denver. I just like the Broncos more in this game because Drew Lock already got his rookie year out of the way, whereas this will be one of Tua's earliest games in his career. He's still adjusting to tough defenses, and when you see Von Miller coming at you, that's a GG. Dolphins lose right here, and they're 1-5, not looking great. Then their schedule gets a little easier after that tough stretch. They play the Chargers as a home game. Going to be a cool game to watch. See if Tua's playing Justin Herbert. That'll be interesting to see. I'm not a huge fan of the Chargers this year, giving the nod to the Dolphins, so 2-5. Then they play the Rams, another home game. If it was in Los Angeles, it might be different, just because Jared Goff's more comfortable there, better winning percentage. But I just don't see the Dolphins, starting off with barely any wins. I say they go 3-5 up to this point, so they get the win there. Then they play the Cardinals in Arizona. As much as the Dolphins are heading in the right direction, I think the Cardinals already have some stuff figured out. Everyone knows they upgraded their offense. The Cardinals are stacked on offense, maybe one of the top teams in the league, besides offensive line, which they could use some help. But the Cardinals really made some decent moves on defense as well. Isaiah Simmons and Jordan Phillips, the defensive tackle from the Bills. Cardinals are set up to have a good season this year, and they're ahead of where the Dolphins are at this point, so they get the win. So 3-6. Then they play the Jets. It's a home game. It's going to be a cool divisional matchup just because both of these teams are, the bottom 2 in their division. But I think the Dolphins are way ahead of the Jets in terms of, getting momentum and stuff. So the Dolphins definitely get the win here, 4-6. Then they play the Jets again. This time it's in New York. Honestly, I don't know why I predicted this game as a loss, but I guess I did. I think that the Jets, I guess they're going to win this game. I probably marked it up as an upset. It's in New York. And Sam Darnold, he could be a good quarterback. It's tough to tell. Sam Darnold doesn't really have the pieces around him to see if he's a good quarterback. He has Le'Veon. He's got Jamal Adams on defense. So maybe they'll be able to get something done. We'll give the Dolphins a loss right here. This game could be a win, but I'm just going to mark it down as an upset because why not? I can. 4-7, it looks like. Then they play the Bengals. Easy win for the Dolphins. Joe Burrow versus Tua. But, Tua definitely has some more pieces around him. Stronger offense. Definitely a stronger defense for the Dolphins. So they'll get the win here and be 5-7. Then they play the Kansas City Chiefs. No debate here. It's in Miami, but let's be real here. Who's a better quarterback, Pat Mahomes or Tua? Don't hesitate. The Dolphins aren't going to win this game. Then they play the Patriots again. I gave the Dolphins the win here. This was before Cam Newton was on the team. It's in Miami, and they always give the Patriots some trouble. So I definitely could see that happening in this stretch. So I'm going to have to give the Dolphins the win here and hope they upset the Patriots' playoff chances. Then they play the Raiders in Las Vegas. Tough game. Both of these teams, it's a coin flip game. But I went against the Dolphins for the Jets game, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in Las Vegas. And we'll say that they beat the Raiders, and they're 7-8. They finish off with a game against the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to get swept by the Buffalo Bills in the 2020 season. Bills, stacked roster. I think they're going to win the AFC East division, if I'm being completely honest. And the Bills are going to get the win right there. So Dolphins fall to 7-9. 7-9, probably not going to be enough to make the playoffs. 8-8 or 9-7 could be enough to make the playoffs. And how can the Dolphins do that? So I predicted the Denver Broncos to be 9-7 and get the 7th seed in the NFL. And I predicted the Patriots to be 9-7, so they'd be the 8th seed based off tiebreakers. So if the Dolphins were able to upset against the Broncos and maybe the Patriots, then they could have a shot. 7-9, you're kind of on the fence trying to get into the playoffs. So we'll have to see what happens heading into 2020. Leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe, comment. Let's go. Next up, New York Jets. Aha.